Right. Well, hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Card Show. I can't believe we're here, and I'm very delighted to say I have a good friend, also a good friend of the channel, back, and a first returning guest as well, by the way. I won't big it up too much and talk about his Instagram, his whatnot breaking, his card show hosting, and all the other great things he does. So we'll just get straight into it. It's Rainy City, the main man, fellow Mank. How you
Thank
doing,
you.
brother?
Thanks for having me back, mate. You finally defrosted me, allowed me to come out of the coal shed.
Yeah,
So
you know how to be
I'm
done.
chewing the fat with you once again.
Of course. I mean, as it is the new year, let's get into sort of last year really, because we've not spoke for a while, not obviously not been in the pod for a few months. So, how did you find 2023 as a card collector?
Well, it's actually July 2023 since I was last on the Card Show pod.
There
Good
we
to
go.
so. I mean, we talk on a regular basis as friends, so I'm really lucky to count you as a really good friend via the hobby.
Same, same,
A
same, same.
lot a lot has happened in those, 5.5 months or so since we last had a conversation on the podcast. I think in terms of a card collector, comparing myself to July 2023, Ben, aka Rainy, I've become
Mm,
massively frugal with what I collect now. So I've
okay.
massively downsized in terms of what baseball cards I collect, what soccer I collect, I'm Rooney Bargy through and through now. Gone are the days of
Hey,
collecting, a couple of United players. So yeah, focusing on Rooney Bargy. I sort of hope on a personal level, when it looks at investing and just enjoying collecting, that he doesn't have a move in the January transfer window. But in terms of card collecting, I've just massively downsized. I am more frugal, a lot more conscious about where I spend my money. I've come away from investing pretty much. I just want to enjoy the
okay.
hobby. You will
Yeah,
be aware of what my intentions are about just doing it just to get a lot of enjoyment out of it, put a smile on my face. So yeah,
yeah,
in terms of card collecting 2023, I went from collecting all sorts of different things. I completed the base set for Disney Locana, thinking that it would
wow.
give me a high level of satisfaction. It gave me none whatsoever, so I got rid of it, and I got rid of it for quite a low price. But I think
Yeah,
the hobby is about just looking at the more exciting aspects of it, connecting with one another and building friendships. I've not got nowhere near as much focus about investment, about the pound size. That's not what I'm about at the moment. So going from 2023 to 2024, it is literally collecting the players that I thoroughly enjoy watching, whether it's soccer or baseball.
nice. Are you still collecting in the comics as well, or that kind of same frugal with that as well?
A little bit more frugal. I've completely come away from collecting Deadpool, even the likes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's more the nostalgic effect for me. Absolutely
Yeah.
love those Ninja Turtles as a kid. So I've gone from that, and I'm just collecting the more rare issues, in particular Invincible. I don't know if you have been
Nice.
familiar with the Amazon series
Yeah,
Invincible.
of course. Yeah.
Absolutely spectacular. So I've picked up a few juicy variants of Invincible comics, but again, being more frugal, I don't want to put too much pressure on me. Being a collector, I just want to enjoy the ride, and that's what 2024 is all about: enjoying the ride and enjoy it with other people who are like-minded.
Yeah, I think that's like a massive like key for anyone listening and who is a collector. Like, enjoy this hobby. There's, that's you couldn't say it better really. Like, there's a lot of shouldn't I say stress, but a lot of times when it gets tough because the investment side of things and you get bogged down by a lot of things. And it's good that you've come to that stage where you're more frugal, you're enjoying the hobby and collecting what you want to collect and what you enjoy and what's going to bring you happiness.
It's all about happiness. It's about being content, and it's massively unfortunate that we have lost some really good people in the hobby, and it ultimately boils down to money, finances. People come into it not necessarily for the wrong reasons, but if you're coming into a hobby to try and make money, and that is your initial approach to card collecting, I just think it's going to end up in tears. And if it doesn't end up in tears, you're just going to be completely dissatisfied with card collecting.
Yeah, definitely. How do you compare 2022 sort of rainy to 2023 rainy, and how do you think that will change in 2024?
My goodness, what an absolute journey. Bob was a absolute advocate and fan of the hobby, but also on a personal level, it's been massively enlightening. I won't go into detail from a personal aspect, but 2022, I'd only returned to the hobby for around 14 to 16 months. And prior to that, we didn't call it the hobby. It was, very early Match Attacks, collecting football stickers. A lot of those football stickers and those Premier League books were, you just get rid of them. You just throw them in the bin. You move house, you think, I've not looked at these books or stickers for a long, long time, so I'll get rid of them. So going from 2022 to 2023 rainy, I just collected everything and anything, getting involved in absolutely all different types of breaks, whether it NFL, soccer, TCG, it didn't matter what TCG it was. 2022 rainy was all about Dragon Ball. I absolutely loved Dragon Ball as a kid, and I absolutely loved collecting Dragon Ball Super card game, SCR hunting. So yeah, that's really rare. I think an SCR card falls one per case on average, so I was going mental with that. 2023 rain, it was just ultimately discovering where my place was in the hobby. Setting up a card, which, again, that was enlightening, entertaining. I discovered a hell of a lot about myself and other people. I discovered some fantastic friendships as well during 2023. So it was more solidifying myself as part of the community. And 2024 is just more of the same, but just being more basic, just putting no pressure on myself whatsoever. And yeah, I can't really say much more than that. I don't want 2024 to be complicated for myself as a card collector. And that's what I say to everybody else who's new to collecting cards and being part of the community. Don't overcomplicate the reasons why we do this. We do this because we enjoy those little pieces of cardboard. Don't let anybody else influence you and tell you what to collect. Collect what the hell you like. And it's like, as a parent myself, I would never put pressure on my own children just to say, this is what you should be invested in. This is what you should buy. This is what you should collect. As children, and I think that's part of the nostalgia being an adult, is it reminds us of our childhood. So, children collect all sorts of different things. It's little figurines, Barbie dolls, football shirts, and football stickers, and that's why we enjoy what we do. So yeah, I just don't want to overcomplicate things. I want to have an absolutely fucking wicked time during 2024, and I want to enjoy it with other people as well.
Nice. And obviously, I sort of touch on that with now you're sort of doing your first ever like soccer only sort of card show. Is that sort of gone back to nostalgia of the shirts and Merlin books and that sort of stuff? Has that really been something you want to do deep down, or is it just something that is a demand thing?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's a demand thing. What I have found, though, from the first Manchester Card Convention in March 2023 to the third Manchester Card Convention in August, there has been a lot more soccer collectors turning up, a lot more people asking, are you going to have more soccer vendors at the next Manchester Card Convention? So the demand is there. It's ultimately an idea. We all had, from the moment our feet hit the ground when we get out of bed to when we put our feet up at the end of the night to go to sleep. You know, we're constantly thinking about ideas, and it's just about having an idea that's worth sharing and executing. And that's what I thought with the Manchester Card Convention and that on transition into the Soccer Card Convention. I just think it's an idea worth sharing. You know, having people under the same roof, there for the same reason, which is they absolutely adore football or soccer, to our friends stateside. You know, whether it's football, there's football cards, football shirts, memorabilia, prints, frames. I just want it all under one roof. The demand is there, and it's not necessarily about being a numbers game. You know, the Soccer Card Convention is going to be a lot more focused, and you know, there's not going to be any Pokemon there. There's not going to be any sports. So the footfall is not going to be massive compared to the MCC. But if it is, you know what, that just shows it's a massive success. But for me, it's important to know that as a card show organizer, you don't just measure success on the isolated number of people who walk through the door. You don't measure success on how many people walk through the door. I've been really fortunate that there has been a massive amount of support for the MCC thus far, and I'm really grateful. The gratitude levels are just going through the roof. And I want to see more of that for the Soccer Card Convention, and just see people enjoy themselves.
That's nice. That's nice. Do you think it's also a bit of a sort of subconscious like transfer for you of moving sort of away from baseball collecting now back into soccer collecting again, of the nostalgia as a kid? Do you think it's sort of you going back to sort of your roots, which is collecting?
There is that, although I am being really frugal with what I collect in terms of baseball and soccer. It's always the nostalgia. You know, when you cast your mind back as a child, the usual icebreaker in the playground is talking about what football team you support, or the football team you've been told to support, usually by your dad or family member. Because children do change the team that they do support. But it is that nostalgic impact that it has. You know, it casts me mind back when I was younger. It's something that adults and children enjoy alike, and you do see that at card shows. You see, not just dads but mums, older siblings taking younger children to card shows, and you see that those adults have got as much excitement on their faces the child that they brought to the show with them. So yeah, it's more about that. The nostalgia keeps us going, doesn't it? Let's be real.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's gonna be good to go somewhere and see, like I said, not just sports cards, but also the memorabilia side of it, the shirts. That it's gonna bring back that nostalgia factor tenfold. Really will do.
Yeah, definitely. What I will say, I've got to say it on record, but football shirts 101, they are absolutely rinsing me. And again, it's that nostalgia. They've got some wonderful shirts, in stock, and that's what it's all about. For me, it's like looking back, and I'm sure that you've got 3 different football shirts that you either had as a child or you would love to have as an adult. For me, it's all about those Serie A mid-90s to late 90s football shirts. The Kappa Juventus, the Puma Lazio shirt from 98, 99, and the one Serie A, and even like the Palermo shirts. There's something about that pink. It just sticks out like.
Yeah. We didn't get pink shirts back in the Premier days, so it stood out massively. It really did.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah, always for me, it's always the Brazil World Cup jerseys. Always.
Yeah, definitely. 98 Brazil home shirt. Now, though, there's always that controversy over exactly what happened in the World Cup final. Is he starting?
Yeah.
Is he starting? But it's even the older advertisements. That 98 World Cup, it was a Nike advert with them all playing.
Yeah, in the airport. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that was a top advert. Top days and days, I tell you.
Exactly, mate. But I'm more interested about what's in store for you in 2024, not just as a card collector, but what will you measure success as being throughout the next
Ooh,
11 and a half months?
ooh, that's a good question. Put me on the spot. I shouldn't be put on the spot on my own podcast. That's crazy.
No,
How would I measure it? I
uh,
think I'd measure it by how happy I'm in the year. If I'm happy in the year, then it's been a good year. You know, happy and healthy, then it's been a good year. What more could I want?
it sounds very cliche, but you can't put you can't invest in anything better than your own health. Whether it's your emotional, physical, or mental health. Sometimes we do forget about that, and even something as simple as collecting cards can have quite the profound impact on your health in general. There's people who try to make a quick buck, people who lose a lot of money when it comes to buying cards, whether it's through breaks, eBay, whatnot. That can have a massive, profound impact on your personal life, all the way
Yeah.
through to, the beef that we do find in the hobby now and again. Both of us have been involved in some form of beef over the years, being invested in the hobby. But, I'm a firm believer in that you can't necessarily argue with stupid. You do you. That's what's important.
Yeah, as long as you're not hurting other people, do you know what I mean? It's as long as you don't hurt people, then keep doing what you're doing. Just be happy in this hobby. That's what it is in the days of a hobby. You know?
And mate, I do agree.
Yeah. So how are you going to measure success then at the end of this year? What's going to be your sort of goal for 2024?
It'd be a little bit lazy if I just said, yeah, I just want to be more happy. I'd just be taking a leaf out of your book. But yeah, it's more of the same. Just
Yeah.
having a simple approach to things. I want to invest in the friendships that have already been built within the hobby. And I would be lying if I didn't touch on the Manchester Card Convention. I want that to be a success, but success for me is just hearing people's stories, hearing that feedback, whether it's positive or not so positive, and seeing people walk away with a smile on the face. For me, that's there's no bigger success in being able to share happiness with other people. So yeah, I've actually trumped your answer there. You just said I just want to be happy. I want to be happy with everyone. That's what I want to see
Uh,
this year.
yeah. That's your success. Yeah, like it's interesting to say about MCC being a success. So do you not see? Obviously, you've done three, about to your fourth. Do you not see the first three as a success, or do how do you gauge that?
Yeah, definitely. I do see them as successful. I've always had the approach in life if I'm not enjoying something or others don't see the value in it, I would stop doing it before, it was dead in the water, essentially. Um, as long as people are saying to me, I really enjoyed myself today, that's just worth its weight in gold. It puts an absolute massive smile on my face. But hearing it from vendors as well, I think it's sometimes forgotten that vendors are important when it comes to shows. You got to ensure that they're enjoying it. But for me, I just want people to enjoy themselves. We've got the fourth MCC coming up on the 27th of January, and yeah, I just want to see people walking up and down, conversing with each other, kick-starting new friendships, because it's those community hubs which I see card shows as being where you start conversing with someone, then you realise that you might have even been talking to that person on Instagram or another form of social media for many months. When you put a handle to the face, which we like to say, it's like,
Yeah.
wow, you're that guy. Or they just might recognise you, or you might get introduced to them through somebody that you have become familiar and friendly with in the hobby. That's what it's all about. It's about building a community. It's not about just plowing out shows. I'm very outspoken in regards to how many shows that we've got in the UK. It's great that there are more and more shows now. But for me, you just need to ensure that the community is at the forefront of your mind. When it comes to putting on shows, do people want to have a card show every 3 months or so? In some areas of the UK, that is an absolute necessity, especially where there's not as many card shows, within a certain radius, whether it's a 20-mile or 50-mile radius. I will say, the London Card Show is an absolute hotbed of the hobby. It's a fantastic community event. It's going from strength to strength, and that is an absolute necessity that it is held every 3 months or so. What Harry has done is absolutely fantastic, and I think everyone, when it comes to organising or wanting to host a show, should look at what Harry's done, not replicate that, but take a lot of influence from that and a lot of inspiration, which is what I've done, and through other communities as well. But ultimately, card shows are a community hub. No matter what anyone says, people might disagree with me. It's all about getting people together, like-minded people, under one roof, and having an absolute whale of a time.
Yeah, 100% agree there. Yeah, I think there can be a lot of people that come in and, like I said, try and make a quick buck, and people come in and think, oh, how do you make money in cards? Okay, everyone's be a breaker, and all of a sudden all these breakers disappear, because it's not a quick book, and then how else can I make money in this? Oh, let's run a card show, and it's they don't last. They just don't last. People who are in it for disingenuous reasons, they never last. So yeah, you've got to put the community at the front.
Yeah, exactly. I always try and put myself in the shoes of other people and ask myself that question: what do other people want? It's not about what I want. And this is something that I've always carried through with me for the last handful of years, even prior to organising the Manchester Card Convention, when I was chairperson and founder at a couple of running clubs. It's not ever about me. It was never my running club. It was the community's running club. So the question that I ask is that, what do you want to see? Not, this is what my vision is. It's about everybody's vision. It's about being a collective. It's about being a crew, and that's important, and that's what I see every time I go to a card show. A majority of card shows, it's one enormous crew. There's that ripple effect. Everyone is there for the same reason. They love cards, but in between those lines, you love the friendships and relationships that you build along the way. What I would love to see off the back of a card show, though, is the first marriage taking place, not at a card show, but two people I've met at a card show and gone on to get married. That would be an absolutely
Jesus
story. That's bound to happen. We are in early days in the UK, but that's what it's all about.
I'll start a new YouTube channel called Married at First Break.
Yeah,
have that one. Yeah.
I like it.
That one right there. Married at First Break. There we go. Yeah, again, I think card shows are doing when it's going to be a very interesting year this year for card shows. What's your thoughts, also being a host of one, on the amount of shows you're going to put on? How many shows do you think is going to be around the country? Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, a positive, a negative? Your thoughts on this year's card show?
Yeah, it is a positive, because it's showing that the hobby is growing. Does it warrant the number of card shows we've got in the UK? That is an open question that you would get multiple answers in response to. It's nice to see new card shows on the calendar. I'm always intrigued, when you see a new location, and it's like card show tourism. You don't just have to go to the event. You can make a weekend of it. You can make a day of it if you wish. So, for example, the Scotland Card Show, I've not been to Jordan's show yet. I'm chewing at the bit to get there this summer, and I will make sure that I go there. Lovely place, Edinburgh. I've only touched base in Edinburgh going back around 11, 12 years ago. So for me, it would all be about meeting like-minded people, checking in with people that I've known for a long time now, as well as exploring the city and no doubt sampling some of the whiskey.
Well, the problem is, if you go to Edinburgh, you won't be at a card show, because this year's card show is in Glasgow.
Oh, that's where I've gone wrong then, haven't I? Well, I can make that diversion anyway.
Yeah, so the first one was in
Uh,
Glasgow, a very, small venues. The last one was in Edinburgh, a big venue, and this one's going back in Glasgow.
yeah, it's at the SEC. So that's an absolute clanger by me. But just to cover over those patches, I could just make that diversion to Edinburgh. There's around
You
an
could,
hour between them.
yeah,
Uh, Going back to my point of it being card show tourism, it's the Scotland Card Show. Go to the card show Saturday, head out for a meal Saturday evening. Sunday, head over
yeah.
to wherever you wish to go, and
Well, so
head.
yeah, so one day as well. So just give you the whole weekend. If you go on a Friday night, for instance, your Friday night is in Glasgow, you do Glasgow Saturday show. Then Saturday, Saturday night you could go out elsewhere and instead wake up Sunday in Edinburgh or Aberdeen, Inverness, where you want to wake up and crack on and explore something new.
Yeah, definitely. And I found that with people coming to Manchester, that they've made a weekend of it. We've had people who've travelled further afield from down south, had other people from a handful of other countries who have come to the Manchester Card Con and they've made a weekend of it. They've stayed over for 2-3 nights. They've asked me for recommendations about where to go in Manchester. And me thinking outside of the box, not thinking just visit Old Trafford. I would never mention other that serves Manchester. And there's, yeah, I mean, let's be real. If it were 5 years ago, I would have said definitely visit Old Trafford. There's not as much silverware to have a look at the Etihad, but you're slowly but surely catching up. So that is a concern for the red side of Manchester. Not
Just a
necessarily.
nice 5 trophies at the moment, just sitting there on display, isn't it? Just saying.
Yeah, champions, borderland, and all the world. Yeah, but you said
Exactly.
people ask me for recommendations, so that's really healthy. It just shows that people are invested in wanting to come to the show, what they want to actually discover more about the city, and it's sometimes forgotten that there is a rich history when it comes to Manchester, and even Greater Manchester itself. There's so much history. There's a hell of a lot of culture. The best thing that I love about Manchester CardCon is the amount of diversity that walks through the doors, and it truly does represent not just the card community. It represents Greater Manchester. Getting people from all different backgrounds, different religions, races, and that's something wonderful to see. It's really representative of Greater Manchester itself, and long may it continue and prevail.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely sure it will. You've. I think that's one of the plus sides for you running the show as well. It's you've built sort of a community from your Insta, your breaking as well. Because people know you through that, the community rapport you've got with people, it then replicates in the shows that you do, and people will come from, like I said, around Europe to your show, and they want to experience it, want to experience a bit of you as well, and it ties in well. And like I said, with the tourism, I can echo that. Obviously you've done both of the Scotland card shows. Glasgow was my first time, a long time being up there. Edinburgh was my first time ever going there. It's great to see the cities, get that bit of culture and experience it, and it's really is. It does add that a little bit more to the hobby as well. It makes it a little more than just a hobby. It helps broaden a lot of horizons. It's second to none. It really is.
Yeah, exactly. What I love about Scotland is absolutely beautiful country. Is I've been to Glasgow a few times. Been to Celtic Park. I am a little bit of well, I'd say I've got more of a soft spot for Celtic. It's been great exploring the city. It's been a long time since, but that's something that I'd like to do this year. Whether I travel overseas to a card show, but I always try to take in a little bit of the local sport, not necessarily soccer, but anything. I've watched basketball when I've been around Europe. Even last time I went to a place in Poland, Gdansk, and I actually took in some of
Oh yeah.
the, oh, actually had flares going off in the stands, which was a bit of an unusual sight for a volleyball game. Around 4 or 5 thousand people watching it in an indoor arena, but it's all about
Uh,
making most of the weekend.
oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think I said this last year as well, but it's going to be with the growth of the hobby just in the UK. You see it sort of growing now, especially Journeys shows quite a lot, and um, the Nordic card show, the Swiss card show. There'll see this couple in France or Paris, and I think it's Lille.
Yeah, it's Leo,
Um,
one that I would love to get
yeah,
to.
Yeah, so you see all these shows up around Europe now. Isn't it Ibiza car show? I mean, can you imagine how crazy that's going to be? Partying up Ibiza to go to a car show and back to the party.
I am
So
quite.
I think that's going to be.
I'm very impulsive though. Ibiza. I hope there's no shade or hate coming my way, but if I went to the Ibiza card show, I wouldn't be coming back to the UK. Yeah, I'm very impulsive. There's too much temptation in Ibiza. I could be led
Oh yeah,
astray. You could be the
what
man.
sort of temptation? What sort of
Right.
temptation?
Temptation
Hey,
greets you like.
I'm a good guy. Come on, I'm a good boy. Don't put that on me.
Yeah, you can cast that out to a vote. See what response.
Hey, less of that. Less of that, man. I'm a good guy. Come on.
Well,
Don't be putting me bit of
you are
slander there.
you are the reigning community champion. Don't dismiss yourself that way.
Tell you what, no, yeah, it was a good year for me. I can't lie. 2023 was a good year. You know, that was a nice touch as well for people to vote. So I always appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
yeah,
well, what I want to know is that because we've both had from a personal level, we've had challenging years, and it's quite normal to have challenges in life. But it's just a question that I've got that I want to ask you. I think I need to be the host now, asking you the questions. But the conversations that we have as friends, we can resonate with, the speed bumps that have come across the way in 2023 personally. But do you have a lot to thank the hobby for? You like to think about if you weren't invested or part of the hobby community, do you think you would have found those personal challenges a lot more challenging?
what I found him. Probably not. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think I'm wired up that way. I think, in a strange way, it sort of adds a little bit more stress as well. Because it's been there was obviously a bit of a period where obviously stuff was going on in my personal life, and I couldn't get to certain shows that I'd obviously planned and booked and spoke to people about, and I wasn't going to them. So then
Yeah,
you sort of feel like you're letting them people down. So then it's like that added burden now. Whereas when it's a personal problem, it's just you're going through it. You can just you go through it. You go through the motions. You do everything you need to do. Now you don't think about is it upsetting work or is it upsetting this. And also then now you've got this new community that you sort of letting down, not showing up for. It's kind of more of a burden. So yeah, I would say if does it help that? Yeah, I'm kind of quite a personal person as well. It's not many people that tell what I'm going through to sort of feedback and get this sort of the ear to bend or whatever. So it's I wouldn't say I've got to that stage yet of the hobby helped me a lot, but
yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
personally, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I found. You can put a lot of pressure on yourself when it literally is a hobby or an interest, but you do quickly find out that the friends that you make in the hobby, you can lean on them for them to be an outlet for you to offload or just have a fucking good time with. Just be in each other's company, and it does make you think. Yeah, there's a lot that's worthwhile when it comes to collecting cards. It's not just about the cards; it's about mateship. That's ultimately what it's about. It's about mateship. If that's an additional layer on top of collecting cards, I wouldn't say that you're lucky, but you're lucky to have that. It just opens up more avenues for you being able to connect with people, and in exchange, you get some fantastic friendships off the back of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's kind of funny. I remember one of the sort of I won't say highlights, but one of sort of the best days was sort of me, you, or you and I, better English there. Sad, like we all met up. There was a few others as well, and we'd met up. We had a drink outside of Manchester. We nipped into the card show, out and food. And it's like I said, like if you didn't make them friends, it would have just been another card show. Me just going to a card show, doing what I do, then going home. You meet friends, and all of a sudden it's a day of it of just simple conversation, a bit of drinks. The weather was good for a change in Manchester for part of it,
How
and it just adds that extra to it, doesn't it? And yeah, it's the sort of moments you cherish in life, I suppose. Having a laugh, a good time.
And you reminded me about that because I completely forgot about that day. Not that I'm dismissing those friendships, but when I cast my mind back, it's summertime, lovely day, yeah, not raining for once, like you allude to, but just spending time with like-minded people. We collect little rectangular pieces of cardboard, but there was very little conversation about buying or selling cards or what cards
Yeah.
aiming to having a PC. That's what it's all about. And that's what I want to see more of in 2024. Just reinforcing and continuing to build those friendships. This podcast is getting really deep, man.
Not for the first time. Not for the first time. Of course.
But yeah,
Yeah,
just chat
for
about that.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Let's get back on more of a topic, but I'd say obviously you're sort of known for being sort of the baseball guy in UK. Really, I think there are people that sort of dibble dabbled with baseball briefs, but I'd say you're someone that sort of ran with it and then obviously had the pleasure or whatever it may be of going in with Sports Training Cards UK and actually doing it on Whatnot platform and really sort of propelling the baseball sport in the UK as for cards. Do you find it's growing the community a lot, or do you find it's still a slow process? How's it been?
When you look at the baseball card community in the UK, it's so much smaller than any other sport. So I don't look at that as being a challenge, getting more people involved in baseball breaks or transitioning into collecting baseball cards. It's part of the journey for me. It's an experience. I think I mentioned this back in July when I was a guest on the pod. I had a few breakers advise me against breaking baseball, but I thought, you know what, it's an idea worth executing. It's worked out really well. I've built up that reputation alongside a few other baseball breakers in the UK as being quite entertaining. I don't know why that is, especially with my dulcet northern tones. But it again, it's building those relationships. I do find that it is a steady process. There are more people who are becoming more invested in baseball cards. That is something wonderful to see. And I've seen that on Whatnot. How the hell I'm the only person breaking baseball on Whatnot in the UK is beyond me. I would love to see me have some company, a little bit of competition, healthy competition on Whatnot. That is actually a resolution that I've got. I want to see somebody else consistently breaking baseball on Whatnot in 2024. So if you are listening to this, reach out to me and we can bounce off one another. The market is definitely there, especially when you look at how popular baseball cards are in the US. People who go to US shows using the National as an example, you hear people who've travelled from the UK to the National and they say primarily a lot of it is baseball cards, and it's not even the best supported sport in the US.
Yeah.
My personal thoughts on that is because of the history baseball cards has in the hobby. Baseball cards are effectively the originators. But yeah, it's a steady process. People are becoming more invested in what players they should collect, what prospects are up and coming. We've seen that with the most recent Bowman release, although I think Tom Brady is up at NFL collectors. I've seen, several NFL card collectors getting involved in Bowman breaks in the hope that a Tom Brady card gets pulled, which we've had no success with. It's not a cheap product either. You're looking at around £520, £550 for a hobby box of Bowman Crow. Sorry, Bowman Draft. So, it's not an inexpensive product, but I'll continue breaking it because I love baseball as a sport. I think it's massively undervalued. I hear people having a bit of banter and camaraderie with me saying it's just the American answer to Rounders, which it is not, but I can laugh at that. But yeah, it's going in a good direction. There are more and more people, whether they've been new to the hobby or they've been, massively involved, collecting soccer, Pokemon. I think more people are starting to wake up and smell the coffee and realise that baseball it's an exciting sport. We've seen the London series at West End Stadium a few occasions, returning this summer. That's having more and more people year on year attend both days. It's over a Saturday or Sunday. I personally think we're going to head out for a sellout on both days for the MLB London series. So that shows that there's an upwards direction when it comes to not just baseball card collecting, but the sport in itself.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, obviously we see it with NFL quite a lot now. We've got 4 games over here now. Obviously basketball, just Paris mainly, but baseball's in the UK. I think the next one is obviously ice hockey to get over here.
Yeah.
Is ice hockey something you're interested in, card wise, sport wise?
Not necessarily. I've got very little knowledge when it comes to ice hockey. My knowledge of it is watching Manchester Storm in the late 90s, early noughties. When ice hockey, it was a lot more supported compared to what it is at the moment in the UK. I think it is, very similar to baseball. It's a very limited market, except there's less nationalities who play ice hockey professionally. Whereas when you look at baseball, it's so popular in Japan as well. Dominican Republic, even Mexico as well. They've got a good national league in Mexico when it comes to baseball. Whereas with ice hockey, yes, you've got the NHL, you've got a few other leagues around, like the Eastern Bloc type countries. In UK, we've got ice hockey league, but there's very little investment in it. But you can say the same thing, when it comes to basketball in the UK as well. It is the second most played team sport in the UK, but in terms of the investment that it gets professionally is very, very small, which is a shame. But I do think we are scratching the surface in terms of younger people being more creative and being willing to explore playing newer sports that aren't necessarily part of the curriculum in the UK when it comes to sport in schools. Again, I'll say it. Wow, this podcast is getting really deep, isn't it? It's getting really deep. But yeah, I think in terms of baseball, it is becoming more popular. It's going to be nowhere near as popular as the likes of soccer or even the NFL when it comes to card collecting in the UK. I just don't think it will reach those heights. But I have seen, especially over the last 2 years or so, breaking baseball, there are more and more people willing to get involved, and more people are interested about what players to invest in, what players to collect. But when it comes to card collecting for baseball, it's such a minefield. It is so vast and in depth. When you add in prospects who might be 2-3 years off reaching the major league, it's an absolute minefield.
Yeah, well, let's touch on that. I mean, obviously, I'm conscious of your time, but let's just touch on that because obviously, I think it's what people may not know as well is the licensing issue. So even though you may get a Shohei Ohtani stained glass, that is not actually licensed for the jersey, so it doesn't have all the jersey details because you don't have the license there. So the main products are with Topps. So what would you say are the top sort of products to buy for people so if you want to get into baseball?
For me, it's got to be flagship. Topps Chrome baseball. It's not too expensive, so I compare Topps Chrome to being very similar to Panini Prism, no matter what the sport is. So we can compare it for people who absolutely love soccer. Comparing Topps Chrome, Champions League to Panini Prism Premier League. There's not much difference in terms of what the product looks like. It is quite flagship Prism as well. I'm a massive fan of Topps Chrome baseball. I think the price point is fantastic, even for soccer as well. You're not paying well, put it this way: you're not eating beans and toast for the next few weeks after buying a hobby box Topps Chrome compared to if you purchased a hobby box of Panini Prizm. It's roughly around 50% the price point for Topps Chrome compared to Prizm. So that's one for me. I am a massive fan of Bowman, more so because I get excited about discovering new prospects. So prospects that, even the experts don't know a great deal about, but when they've been playing in universities, for example, or minor leagues, it's quite fun to collect certain prospects. They might prevail and hit the major league or the show, as we like to call it, or they might be an absolute bust. So you might have invested money in a prospect that turns out to be an absolute dud. Other products as well, because although Panini is on license, I am a massive fan of Immaculate Baseball. I think there is some money in it. You're not going to get as much money compared to licensed products, but for example, in the last 2 months or so, breaking Panini baseball products, Ellie De La Cruz, number 25 auto, that was a RPA. That was Panini Immaculate Baseball, and even last night, a number 5 Masataka Yoshida RPA, again another Panini product, but even those low numbered RPAs are carrying big money if people want to then resell them. Just touching on Shohei Ohtani, I'm gonna get a lot of hate. I don't care. I just think he's overrated. He's a fantastic player, but if that guy does not win World Series, that question is always going to be asked. Yeah, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he should have won a World Series, especially when you look at some of the players who've won a World Series.
So is Mike Trout overrated then?
I like Mike Trout. Do you know why I like Mike Trout? Because he collects his cards.
Jesus. Shohei does as well.
I don't know about it.
Yeah, not seen it. I think he had like 3 of these cards made and signed, and he's like signed it 1 of 1, 2 of 3, and 1 of 1, 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and 3 of 3. Give one to his interpreter as well.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's signed for the Dodgers, big rival of the Mets. So yeah, the less said about Shohei, the better. But look at the contracts he's signed. Does that not speak volumes in terms of the popularity of baseball, or is it stupidity? Well, it's a 10-year deal, so we're going to find out. We'll have to chat again in another 10 years' time about Shohei.
Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer for sure. Look at how he won the World Series with Japan over America though, against Trout. That was just, come on.
Yeah, definitely. He's an absolute barking player. I still think he's overrated. If he wins a World Series and 1 or 2 more MVP awards while he's with the Dodgers, I'll come back to you and I'll put my money where my mouth is and say, yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah. So obviously we touched a bit on products there. Is there sort of players that you're gonna think people should look out for? Obviously we've talked about Shohei sort of being, saying a lot of people calling him basically like if in basketball terms like LeBron at the moment, and he's like, is he the GOAT? He's in that GOAT question in Shohei at the moment. He's one of the best to play it. Obviously he's injured at the moment, but he's no charges over his head, and he's sort of seen as like a clean athlete, and he seems to be doing his job properly. But who should people be looking out for?
I will actually say Shohei Ohtani. I am eating my own words there, but he's always going to be. Him signing with the Dodgers has made other people who are invested in other sports stand up and pay attention. So that's only a positive thing when it comes to baseball. In terms of other players, it's all about the new rookie class. So this year, it's projected that the likes of Jackson Holiday for the Baltimore Orioles is going to come through. The Orioles are going to be frightening. Some of their prospects and some of the players that they've already got who have solidified themselves in the roster, the likes of Gunnar Henderson, who won Rookie of the Year in the National League, Adley Rutschman, the addition of the addition of Jackson Holiday is going to be massive. I mean, in terms of other players to look out for this year, you know, we touched on Ellie De La Cruz. You know, back in July, he'd only just reached the, you know, the major league then, but he's never had a topped rookie card. So that's coming this year. So there will be a lot of money invested in him. There'll be a lot of eyes on him. You know, whether he can still excite people, I think he will. He's absolutely electrifying. In terms of other players, the number one and two draft picks from the 2023 MLB draft. So number one, one player I'd like to see break through. So I'm going to change this. So I actually mentioned him back in July, and he'd not even been drafted. He was a second draft pick. That was Dylan Cruz. He signed with the Nationals, so Washington Nationals, look out for him. I do think he's going to make the major league. He's 22. I think he had a third year at LSU, so same university as the likes of Joe Burrow. He's projected to break through. Another one as well, which is for the World Series champs, Texas Rangers, is a player who he made his debut, I think it was back in June. So debut season, he's already won a World Series, but he's not even had a rookie card. That is Evan Carter at the Texas Rangers. So look out for him as well. You know, fantastic few players there. For me, will I be investing in them? Potentially Ellie De La Cruz. You know, he's an entertainer. He's sort of got that glamour of Ken Griffey Jr. in my view. You know, he gets people on the edge of the seat. How much money I invest in him, I'm not too sure. But I'm a New York Mets fan, and there's absolutely nothing to look forward to as a Mets fan. You know, we are absolutely atrocious. Our off has been awful, and we've got no rookies coming through. So the rookie class in terms of card collecting is going to be non-existent for the New York Mets.
Jeez, and then the Yankees obviously making moves as well. So I'm like, that can't be easy for you.
Yeah, definitely. There's that added pressure, isn't there? No matter whether it's baseball, but even NFL and NBA. As soon as you are a relatively big time player, as soon as you sign for a New York team, that is, you are a small fish in a big pond. All eyes are on you. And look at one sign for the Yankees. You know, it happens in the NFL. I mean, you tell me, like, what one player, because I'm thinking of someone, what one player has signed for either the Jets or the Giants who was expected to break out, you know, have an absolutely fantastic year, and they're just falling off. And this can include rookies as well.
Okay, I was gonna say, unfortunately, obviously, Rodgers this year was a big one.
Yeah,
Everyone thought the Jets were making it the playoffs, you know.
exactly. And before him, Zach Wilson.
Injured after 46 seconds, man. It was crazy. The season was over after 46 seconds. It was crazy.
Yeah. But it's not even Zach Wilson as well. You know, questionable from early on, but the amount of money that were thrown at him, you know, when it came to his rookie cards, was massively falling off. But that's the New York effect. You sign for a New York team, everyone's going to be looking out for you, and you're going to become public enemy number one if you don't live up to expectations.
For sure. And is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. No, just final notes from me. You know, it's absolutely fantastic to chat again. We chat on a regular basis, and I always look forward to it. But yeah, it's more of the same, man. Happiness, feeling content during 2024. A final note from me: convention, Saturday the 27th of January. The first card show in the UK for 2024 on the calendar. We are around 30 tickets from selling out, so don't sleep, people. Don't sleep.
Seriously, don't sleep. 30 tickets left. Come on, gotta be quick.
Hell yeah, but yeah, always good to chat, my friend.
It is. It's been good to have you back on again. The first returning guest as well. You know, look at that. 30 episodes in. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, you'll have to lock me back in the coal shed for the next 6 months and knock on.
I'm sure we'll be. Again, we'll see. We'll MCC4. I'm sure we'll do some more content again. It was always a good laugh last time. that challenge. I actually picked Pokemon, didn't I? Out of the Magic Ball, I got Pokemon.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good fun, man. Looking forward to the day itself. I'm really excited about attending a couple of shows in the UK this year as well. Scotland show. Jordan, you are on my hit list, so I'm gonna come running for you, mate. Watch this
Oh
space.
Jesus! Oh Jesus! Oh, on that note, on a threat note, what better way to end this? If you listen this far, you're the real MVPs. We appreciate you. For the Card Show episode 30, that is out. Peace.